Hey everybody, this is Josh Runquist here for the Heavy Debriefings podcast, episode 20.
Ooh.
As we enter into the holiday season officially, again, this is Josh Runquist along with someone who listens to everything from Dolly Parton to Agatha Daimon. It is the Metal Faerie.
That's a great one. We can almost drink. Our podcast can almost drink.
And in a few more episodes, they can legally rent a car.
Exactly. How messed up is that comes before that?
I know. But regardless, you just came home about 20 minutes ago.
Right about.
And it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
In the light of having no news, well, one thing that we'll probably touch on.
Yeah.
But how are you doing, actually?
I am hanging in here. I'm a little tuckered out, but I got some sleep over the weekend. As I mentioned in one of the previous podcasts recently, there's been some changes on my end and in a certain area of my life that I'm not going to get into detail on, but, still kind of dealing with those changes and kind of, seeing how things go, weighing things day by day.
So with that, I mean, it's been around a week
Mhm.
since it officially started with new changes.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about them?
I mean, it's a mixed bag of emotions because there's good and bad that comes with things sometimes. And, the bad things can weigh you down. But at the same time, I'm trying to be positive, trying to think about what good could happen and trying to be positive. But of course, the anxiety tears you down sometimes.
Do you feel more anxious now or less?
Somewhere in between, I would say. I mean, this week was being a holiday week. It's a little different, so I'm still not sure of what things will be from here on out. But I'm somewhere in between as of right now. That may change, may fluctuate, but we'll see where it goes.
Well, I've definitely noticed some negative changes that have happened and some positive changes that have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping going forward into next year, it does end up being a more positive experience than negative.
Yeah.
Because you've really been through the ringer over the last couple years. And I know it's taken a huge toll on your mental health.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I really hope things going in the right direction might be able to help right the ship.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster ride, but how are you doing?
I am still in a pit of my own hell.
Yeah.
I've had a rough weekend, but I've been trying to counterbalance it with a lot of work.
You have been very busy.
Since Friday morning, I have been working on my top 100 albums of 2023.
Mhm.
Even though I've had the list done for quite a bit of time,
Yeah.
I made the video version, which will be up here on YouTube if you're checking out the YouTube version. And that took a long time. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I got a little bit of sleep. I took a little bit of breaks, but really, it took about 20 hours to get all of it done.
Well, going over 100 albums, it could take some time.
Yeah, and then last night, after my sleep schedule completely shifted and you woke me up with some news that we'll be talking about later in the show, a cult of personality, if you will.
Yes.
I came up with the brilliant idea of, hey, why don't I try to get more people to check this out?
Yeah.
The top 100 of 2023, and I made every single album review that I already did under a minute.
Yeah.
Some of them were over 3 minutes long that I narrowed down to a minute.
Yeah.
And I decided to keep all 100 clips of the new style, and I'm going to be putting them up as YouTube shorts.
Nice.
So more people will check them out, and I am heavily debating putting it up on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
I don't currently have a TikTok, but I figure with 100 videos, it might be a good way to be able to start off.
Yeah, I am a TikTok user because I am just like that. I haven't seen anything like that out there, like people doing reviews on there. But then again, I could be just being brought to a completely different side of TikTok based on what I viewed in the past.
Well, I mean, you mainly look at animals on there, so
that is a chunk of what I watch, cute animals. But
and hot, sweaty men, I imagine.
Oh yes, that's it. But even if it's not out there, I mean, hey, you could be the trailblazer.
I could. And I thought about it, and I'm actually going to be doing the same thing for the weekly reviews that I'll be starting in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still might wait a week or two into January to start all that up. That way I have enough albums.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of doing the YouTube Shorts version of it as well, and then potentially putting those up on TikTok as well. And then, all of it together on YouTube as well as a normal video.
Yeah.
So trying to get 3 different different ways of doing it through one video.
Yeah.
Which, you know, works smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And I mean, we know people's attention spans are getting smaller and smaller, so hey, this could be a good thing.
Well, I also want to keep people who have the long attention spans going
that's
as
true.
well, but I
Yeah.
want to market to the small ones as well. That way,
Exactly.
having the cake and eating it as well.
Exactly.
But as soon as I was done with everything, I came to the realization that I did 750 album reviews this year.
Yeah.
Because you take the 350 albums that I did for the top 10 albums of every year I've been alive.
Yep.
You take the 100 albums from January to October for the top 10 of the month.
Yep.
You take another 100 albums that I did in YouTube version and potentially YouTube short and TikTok. You take the 100 written reviews as well.
Yes.
And also another 100 for the written reviews of the top 10 of the month. And all of that combined equals out to 750.
So you did quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm completely out of my mind. Why don't I just do another 250 and go for an even 1,000 before the end of the year?
You should. Let's make that happen.
Nah, I can't do that. But, yeah, all of that was to battle the mental demons that are going through my head right now.
Yes.
And, unfortunately, today is a very hard day for me as a family member is celebrating her birthday today.
Yeah.
I got reminded of it from the only member of my family that I still talk to.
Yeah.
Talk about the pictures and all that stuff. And I understand why.
Yeah, of course.
It's just hard.
Still hard. Yeah, totally
So,
understand.
I've been looking forward to talking to you and having you home and being able to do the show.
One good thing, though, that did happen for us is we got an early Christmas present.
Yes, we did. Thanks to Black Friday, Christmas, and the way that I also look at it as well, being done with the county coming here every month to do wellness checks on me.
Yes.
Is we got ourselves a little arcade 1-up countercade.
Yes.
Now, anyone who remembers one of the first podcasts that we did together, we were going to get a Simpsons arcade 1-up.
We were.
But then we totally got scammed.
We were so foolish.
Thankfully, we got our money back.
Yes,
but
we did.
still.
Yeah.
But this one was actually legitimate.
Yes.
We got ourselves the Mortal Kombat 2 countercade, which features Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and Ultimate 3.
Yes.
What have you thought of it so far?
It's adorable. I mean, it looks exactly like an arcade. It's just a fourth of the size, I believe. It's really great visuals for the size and what you would expect out of a countercade this small, but I think it's fun. Like, you know, I know some people say it's too small to be comfortable playing and stuff like that, but we've had no issues, and I think it's just about finding the right position and stuff, and I love it. And of course, we love battling Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's one of my favorite memories that we ever had was back at our old place.
Yes.
Close to us, a couple miles away, there's a local game store.
Yeah.
And they have a full-size Mortal Kombat 2 arcade there.
Yeah.
And we played it the first time we ever went in there.
We did.
And it was so much fun. Of course, you always play as
Sub-Zero.
Yes.
My favorite.
What is it about Sub-Zero to you?
He's just the best. I mean, he's a handsome fella, first of all. But I love that he can like freeze people and shoot ice and stuff like that. That's just so cool to me.
So Minnesotan.
It is, yeah.
Of course, there's several different versions than people who have played Sub-Zero over the years.
Well, sure. And your favorite is?
Well, from the early days, it's always been Jax.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he just goes from like this normal boxer type to losing his arms and having them become metallic arms.
Yes.
And, you know, just like he can punch through anything. I love doing the punches and the kicks and everything. And
yeah.
I mean, every time that we play, I mean, I try to change things up a bit, but you always play a Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And I almost always start off with Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially at some point, after we get sick of just having the 4 games on there.
Yeah.
I know there's ways to be able to hack it and do stuff like that.
I'm hesitant about it, but
I know you are. But I think it could be something that's really cool as well.
Maybe.
I'm not sold on it,
Yeah.
but it might be something that could happen in the future. But right now, we got the 4 games on there. It's still a lot of fun.
Exactly.
And it's actually going to be right in between both of our office setups.
It is.
And it's actually showed up from part 4 onwards in the top 100 albums of 2023.
Yes.
Because between episodes 3 and 4, it showed up.
It did.
And I was was so happy to be able to put that together. Of course, the best thing about it was you didn't really have to put anything together.
No,
you just had to
it's
take it out and
assembled
plug it in.
already. Yeah.
Which is so great.
Exactly. No IKEA with this.
Yes. And that would have been the thing that really sucked if we did get the Simpsons 1-Up Arcade is we would have
Yeah.
had to assemble everything ourselves. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. And, you know, some people say, of course you mentioned as well, you know, it's like it's too small or other things like that. But, you know, you really do get everything that you see in front of you. I mean, they're not lying to you. They're not misleading you with what it is. Unlike a certain individual that we talked about last week who made it seem like he was making a major change in his life.
Yes.
But nope, it turned out to be a marketing ploy.
Yes, of course, we are talking about Martha Stewart's best friend, Snoop Dogg. Of course, last week, or the week before, he had announced that he was going to quit smoking. Well, he was, but not in the way that we thought he was.
He said he was going to quit smoke.
Yes, sorry, he's going to quit smoke. What this ends up being is a marketing ploy. He is representing Solo Stove, which is one of those smokeless outdoor stoves. And it has nothing to do with him smoking. It's just the stove.
Gotcha. No. If it's smokeless, he's done with smoke.
Exactly. No, he's a liar.
Yeah, we all thought he gave up on the green in some way, shape, or form, and I've seen so many different conspiracy theories that dealt with that until the news officially came out that it was just a marketing ploy for this.
He's actually doing it for a different type of green.
Yes. Oh, we got fooled.
We got fooled. I wonder what Martha thinks of it.
She probably thought it was genius.
That is true. She's a crafty lady.
And a felon. Okay, so a little programming note as we're going to be entering the holiday season from here all the way to New Year's Eve, actually. That'll be the last day of the year and the last episode of the podcast for 2023.
Yes.
We're doing a little bit of a programming shift as well, as we're going to be talking a lot about music.
Yes.
As you noticed last week, we covered Decibel's top 40 albums of 2023.
We did.
And this week, we're going to be covering a different top list of 2023.
Yes.
We might be continuing that on, might be including some of the YouTube stuff that we watch,
Maybe.
other people that we check out as well, maybe other publications, we'll see.
Yeah.
But along with that, we decided to cut back on other kinds of music stuff, and cutting out my favorite part of the show, at least for the rest of the year.
Yes.
The musical roulette, 3 random songs.
Yes.
It just would have felt like too much in one direction, and just wanted to keep this more well-balanced.
Totally get it.
Might bring it back next year, we might not.
We'll
We
see
might
what
come up with
happens.
something different, but yeah, we're just going from here, and we're gonna be, like, after we do the news segments or mental health check-ins, depending on how the news goes, we're just gonna go smack dab into our main part, which you, of course, have been taking over the main parts of the show this week since September.
I have.
And November into December is no different.
Yeah, so we're getting into some holiday content now, and today we're going to be talking about our favorite holiday movies. So what were your thoughts going into this?
Well, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. I mean, there's so many different things that people say about Christmas and, like, what constitute as a Christmas movie, what constitute as a holiday movie.
Yeah.
So many different things.
Yeah.
But I just went into what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Some of them are pure Christmas holiday movies. Some of them are adjacent to holiday stuff.
Yeah.
But you'll see how it goes here. And I imagine yours has a lot of blood-filled stuff going on with it in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, some of them do, for sure. Yeah, I mean, a majority of mine are Christmas-related in some way, shape, or form. When I really thought about it, I couldn't really even think of many holiday movies that weren't Christmas. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I have quite a few. I'm sure some of ours will match up, but...
So are we doing... well, I have 10.
Okay, I have more than 10.
All right, so do you want to do honorable mentions first or last?
Whatever you want. I don't have any honorable mentions. I just made a big old list.
Oh, you just made a big old list.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so I can start and we just go back and forth.
Yeah, okay.
So probably my favorite holiday movie, much like Roger from American Dad, is Smoky Mountain Christmas.
I must have watched it over 1,000 times.
Exactly. If you are unfamiliar with this movie, it came out, I believe, in '86. It features Dolly Parton and Lee Majors. It also was directed by none other than the Fonz himself, Henry Winkler.
What a combination.
I know.
You got Dolly Parton, the $6 million man, and the Fonz.
Yes. In a stretch for Dolly, she plays a country music artist.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, she's not a rock and roll artist?
No.
But she just put out an album last week that
I know, right?
contrary to that belief.
It is.
It's good to see her have range.
Exactly. So anyways, in the movie, without giving it all away, she's kind of sick of the limelight, though she wants to go away where she can have some privacy and work on her next album. So she goes and stays in a little cabin in the Smoky Mountains. And cue Lee Majors, who's like the local kind of macho guy riding his horse, but a good guy nonetheless. They come to find that there is a group of orphans who have been living in this little cabin that she's going to stay in. And there's two kind of evil people in the town that are trying to take them down. And Dolly and Lee Majors, they're kind of trying to help them throughout the movie. And it's just a big Christmas miracle.
And nowhere available to watch it unless you got a physical version.
It's on YouTube, I believe.
Oh, it is on YouTube.
I believe so. I mean, It's
Okay.
not like officially on YouTube, but I think somebody posted it on there. And nobody's going to try to take that down. So
Well, that's true.
yeah, so that is my favorite.
All right. Well, since we're starting at the top, I might as well start off with my top one as well.
Yeah.
This should come as no surprise as we watch it every single year.
Yes.
We went to theaters to actually see this
Mm-hmm.
in theaters a few years back, and we should have went down to Rochester where the particular star of this movie was doing a screening of the movie and a
Yes.
Q&A.
Yes.
Which would have been fantastic,
It would
but
have been.
I digress.
Yes.
It is, of course, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes, I do have that one as well.
It is my favorite of the 4 vacation movies.
Yeah.
Vegas Vacation is actually number 2. I know that's widely regarded as the worst one, but I don't care.
I like that one too.
The original one is 3rd, and then European Vacation is 4th.
Yeah.
Of course, the absolute worst one is Christmas Vacation 2. But the less we talk about that, better.
Yes.
Of course, the whole idea is that it's not actually a vacation. The Griswold family is staying home, but their in-laws are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole bunch of shenanigans happen right from the start all the way
Yes.
through. Of
Yes.
course, the whole idea is that Clark wants to get a pool in the backyard for everybody.
Yes.
And after so many different shenanigans, and of course Cousin Eddie and the whole family showing up, it just leads to so many great moments that
Yes.
almost should have been a rated R movie, but it is PG-13. I think it's the best vacation movie and just my favorite Christmas movie that we always go back to.
It is hilarious. There are so many good moments in that movie. So up next, I have Home Alone 1 and 2.
Hey, those are separate.
Well, I'm talking about both of them at once.
All right, well,
But yeah, that's like if there's any movie that puts me in the Christmas spirit, it's Home Alone. Like that will just make me happy and want to drink hot chocolate and put up another tree. Like it's just so good. The first one, I mean, I was a kid when it came out, so of course the first one, like as a kid, you're thinking about like all the crazy things you could do to like protect yourself and stuff like that. And as adults, you think about what jobs those parents have because good lord, who can afford that house? And then the second one is so fun in New York. Like there's something magical about New York in the winter. I feel like that just makes you feel like Christmas. I've never been there, of course, but seeing it on film, anyways.
well, I had been to New York, but I
You
haven't
have.
been there during the Christmas time.
Yeah.
It was like deep in the heart of June. So,
Yes.
it's just like not the
Opposite.
optimal time to go. Well, funny enough, I had Home Alone next.
Yes.
And I'm also talk about Home Alone 2 as well, since I have that down later in the list.
Okay.
But yeah, the original Home Alone, like, I know how much that makes you smile, and you've told me so many times, it doesn't feel like Christmas until you watch Home Alone 1 and 2.
It doesn't.
Or at least the first one, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And there's just so many great moments about it. Another John Hughes movie, just
Yes,
like
yes.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes.
Funny enough.
So many movies he did.
And Chicago. They're always in the Chicagoland area.
Yes.
Or the suburbs.
Yes.
But yeah, just seeing how Macaulay Culkin got his major start. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
he was in some bit parts before that, but that's besides the point.
Yes.
Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci as the world's worst bandits
Mm-hmm.
out there. Just the original movie is just so fantastic. In a way, like so many kids of my generation wish that they could have spent Christmas like
Yeah.
alone, being able to have the house to themselves. It gets a little scary sometimes when you're at
Yeah.
that age and you're by
Yeah.
yourself, but there's so many great moments to it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Home Alone 2 is the same friggin' movie, but taking place in New York.
It is.
It's the same plot.
But it's still great.
It's still great. You just change enough to make it New York, but I do have to give it several steps down because of the cameo from Donald Trump.
I was just going to mention that.
But it also does have Tim Curry, so it almost balances out.
It does.
So what do you got up next?
So I don't really have mine in any particular order from here, so I'm just going to kind of bounce around.
Sure.
Another one that it is not Christmas time until I watch this, and I have made you watch it many a time, is A Very Brady Christmas.
That's a TV movie.
It's a movie still. Smoky Mountain Christmas was a TV movie too.
I know,
It's a movie.
All right.
Okay.
All right, fine.
I will preface this by saying I'm not even that much of a Brady Bunch person. I mean, I watched it once in a while growing up, but I wasn't like a huge Brady Bunch fan. But there is something about seeing them as adults and all their struggles, and like having Alice come back and kind of get everybody together. And at the end, like when the father, what's his name? Not Greg. Mike. Thank you, Mike. When he's trapped in the building that's collapsed.
Whoa, spoilers, dude.
Oh, come on. When he's trapped in the building that collapses and they all sing together to, make the building uncollapse and bring him out.
Somehow.
If you don't cry during that, you are a monster.
Or you just realize how beyond belief that actually works.
But it's just great. I love it.
I understand. Next up for me is a movie I've had you watch a couple times, but I still don't think you've seen it enough. It is Scrooged.
I knew you were going to put that. Yeah.
Yes, Bill Murray basically doing a Christmas Carol, but has such a great cast of characters. The singer who does He Got the Fire, singing hot, 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 is one of the ghosts.
Yeah.
Just Bill Murray being an absolute bastard in this movie, being a TV executive.
Yes.
And just all the things that come with it. It's my favorite portrayal of a Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Of course, A Muppet's Christmas Carol comes very, very close.
Yes.
And I should have included them on this list, but I didn't want to have the same style of movie twice, so I didn't include that.
This is you including it right now.
Yeah, I'm including it right now, but of course that has Mike O'Kane on there playing Bill Murray's part, which of course is Ebenezer Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Scrooged so much.
It is a funny one. I have enjoyed it when you played it. Up next, I have Black Christmas.
Ooh.
So this is one that originally came out in, I can't remember what year, but and then it was remade in 2006 and then remade again in 2019.
Was there a sequel as well, or am I thinking of something else?
Not that I remember, anyways.
I'm thinking of a different Christmas movie that you might put in.
Yeah. I love the original and I love the 2006 version. The 2019 version was fine, but it kind of went in a different direction than the original and the remake, or the first remake. Oh, not quite up there for me, but I love this movie. If you're not familiar with it, takes place at a sorority house over the winter break, and we'll just say sorority girls start getting killed off.
That is a fair way to describe it.
It is.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I do remember seeing maybe. Well, and speaking of horror Christmas adjacent movies,
okay,
I know this is probably on your list, but I got to it first.
Okay.
I think our first Christmas horror movie that we ever saw together, I could be wrong.
Okay.
It is, of course, Krampus.
Oh, yes.
Krampus, I don't think the trailers did a very good job describing how this movie is, but it is, well, like when we talked about Thanksgiving last week, mentioned about how, like, Black Friday, like, they covered it so perfectly 10 or 15 years late. Krampus, however, was on the tail end of everything falling apart when it comes to going in store for Black Friday.
Yeah.
So that opening scene where they have, like, the real life stuff that happens mixed in with the stuff that they added was just perfection.
Yeah.
But just the whole idea of everyone being a bastard on Christmas, everyone being so detestable in their own way, shape, or form, and it actually awakens the Kraken, or should I say the Krampus, if you will. And just, I don't want to give everything away because it's still relatively new, but it is one of the better horror Christmas holiday movies out there if you're not looking for something with bloodshed. It's just fun, evil, and of course, Hail Krampus.
Yes, this is on my list as well. And there are a few different movies out there with the same title, but we're specifically talking about the one that came out at, I want to say like 2015-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And I would say it's like very visually pretty too, this movie. It really kind of just invokes that Christmas spirit in you, But I love it as well. Up next on my list is Rare Exports. So this is a Finnish movie. It's kind of a horror movie. It is about a boy whose dad is working on excavation site near their house, and they dig up like this feral creature that the boy is convinced is Santa Claus. And yeah, we'll just say that things go crazy from there. He is not the cheery Claus that you're expecting.
Yeah, is this the found footage one?
No.
No? Okay, I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the premise. It's very, very intriguing.
Have I ever made you watch this? I don't think I
No.
have. Oh, I will do that.
Well, I have a movie for you that you've never seen.
Okay.
And you should have seen it by now, because the particular director of this movie made A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
And you avoided that like the plague.
I did.
For so long. Then you finally watched it, and then it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I think that would also happen with this movie from director Tim Burton, known as Edward Scissorhands.
Yes, I haven't seen that.
It's a very dark, gothic movie that it's modern times, but it also feels like a throwback to retro 50s and 60s. And of course, it is the last appearance of Vincent Price in any form of media.
Yes.
So for that reason alone, you need to see it.
That is true.
It's the last thing Vincent Price ever did.
Okay, we got a couple movies we gotta make sure they're watched.
Yes, but it's part whimsical, it's part dark, tragic, funny. If you also want to see Mr. Evil Dies Tonight, Anthony Michael Hall, when he first got jacked,
nice.
He plays the douche of a boyfriend in this movie. He looks like a football jock in this one. Like
how the tides turn.
How the tides turn from Weird Science and all the other John Hughes movies. But it's a very sad and tragic movie, but it's also a very fine Christmas movie as well.
Yeah, totally understand. And since you mentioned it, I might as well go off of that. And Nightmare Before Christmas is one on my movie list. Of course, it's a little bit Halloween, a little bit Christmas. Which one is it?
I'm a little bit Halloween.
I'm a little bit Christmas. But yes, yeah. I mean, like you kind of mentioned with Edward Scissorhands, it's very gothy, it's very whimsical, but it's just fun. It's fun.
Not nearly as tragic as Edward Scissorhands, because it's a Disney movie. I mean, you can't really have that unless one of the parents is dying.
That's true.
But, you know, it's a little messed up when you think about it, too. I mean, just look at Zero. I mean, that's really tragic when you think about what happens to Zero.
Yeah.
Other Christmas-adjacent movies, but you know what? It is still a Christmas movie, and if you don't have this one on here, I'd be absolutely shocked.
Okay.
Gremlins.
Yes, I do have that on here.
Yes.
1 and 2.
Is 2 a Christmas movie? I don't remember it happening during Christmas.
I guess I remember it as a Christmas movie just because the Gremlins kind of just get me in the Christmas spirit overall, but
that makes sense.
I can't remember for sure.
Well, the first one for sure
yes.
is a Christmas movie, and just Gizmo is just one of the cutest gosh darn animatronics that's ever been made in Hollywood.
Yes.
I mean, in the
Him and Grogu, like,
yes.
they could take over the world.
Well, Grogu's not animatronic. But,
well, okay, fine, but, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, Gizmo is just ridiculously cute, and when you just see the Gremlins either eating after midnight or getting hit by water and just seeing the creatures that they become is an abomination to God, but it's also just hilarious as well.
Yes.
You know, the first one's meant to be a little more scary and stuff, and the second movie is just like breaking the fourth wall constantly.
Oh, sure.
The fact that there's a movie of Gremlins 2 in Gremlins 2, and Hulk Hogan is sitting in the audience for that, it just goes completely off the wall. But I do love both movies.
Me too.
So much.
Me too. Up next,
you're not going to say anything about
Oh, sorry. I mean, I've loved this movie since I was a little kid. I remember being just a wee little toddler seeing this, and Gizmo was just like the most precious thing ever created. And I remember having like a Gizmo shirt when I was a kid, like. He's just so cute. And I love the song that he hums. It's the sweetest thing in the world. But,
true.
And it's just funny. It's just hilarious overall. Like, it's kind of a horror, but it's also a comedy, but it's also adorable. It's everything you could want. Yeah. Up next is Silent Night, Deadly Night.
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, yes.
That had a sequel.
Yeah, there's like 5 of those movies, I believe. Okay. I am talking specifically of the first one because I don't remember the other ones. But if you're not familiar with it, it is a horror movie about Billy, who has a bit of a psych break, I guess you could say, and he goes on a murder spree dressed as Santa.
I mean, who hasn't done that?
Well, that is true. But yeah, it's fun. It's not a great movie by any stretch, but it's a just cheesy, like, guilty pleasure horror Christmas movie.
Well, I still don't believe in guilt pleasures, but if you enjoy it, you enjoy it.
Exactly.
Next up for me is another holiday comedy movie, which I could have sworn I made you watch, but when I've brought it up in the past, you said you don't remember seeing it, so
Okay.
You also do have a one-track mind,
I
so
do.
I don't know if you remember it.
Okay.
Starring Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, Bad Santa.
Bad Santa.
I remember parts of it.
Okay, that's more than the last time we talked about it.
Yeah.
First of all, Bad Santa 2 is an abomination unto God as well. Just like Christmas Vacation 2, those should not have been made.
Yeah.
But Bad Santa is just like a great movie. John Ritter's last movie.
Yes.
As well. Your girl Lorelai from Gilmore Girls is the main female lead in the movie.
Yes. Lauren Graham.
Yes. It's just a really raunchy Christmas movie.
It is.
About the idea of like stealing from the bank vault of a mall, and so many shenanigans happen from that. So many things you can't talk about on YouTube, so I'll refrain from getting into it. But if you just know it's a rated R raunchy comedy, and if that's your bag, awesome, go check it out if you haven't already. And if not, I completely understand.
Yeah.
But either way, avoid Bad Santa 2.
I will. Up next, I was kind of hesitant to put this because I like it, but I feel like it's grown too big for itself at this point. And there are people who are just like such massive fans of this that I don't want to be like stepping on toes, but Elf.
Oh, Elf, yeah.
Like it's grown and it's like a Broadway hit now, I think, or something. I think so anyways. I believe it's been turned into a play as well.
Well, if Mean Girls can be a musical, why not Elf?
Exactly. But I feel like people are like obsessive about this movie at this point, and I'm not that far, but I do enjoy the movie, and I just love Will Ferrell.
It's like the new version of A Christmas Story. That was the movie for so very, very long.
Yeah.
Now, when you look back at it, there's a lot of color-tugging moments that happen in there, especially towards the end. But I think Elf is that movie right now, where it's just like, it's the most beloved Christmas movie of the 21st century.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't put it on my list, but it is enjoyable.
Yeah.
And seeing Artie Lang as a mall Santa was great, and getting into a fight with Will Ferrell. And speaking of movies that has the opposite effect that people remember, but I know we do, Vern.
Yes.
It is Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember if this was originally a full motion picture, if this was on TV. I mainly remember it from TV.
Yeah.
But, just Ernest and Vern going on their adventures once again and, helping Santa save Christmas before everything goes down in flames.
Yes.
And I just loved it so much. I thought it was the most, family friendly of all the Ernest movies for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I still have a soft spot for the Ernest movies, and Ernest Saves Christmas is just one of those movies.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it. I don't remember a lot about it at this point, but yeah, it was fun. Up next, I have Saint. So this is a Dutch dark comedy / horror. Kind of like Rare Edwards. It's a Saint Nick that is not what you are expecting from Saint Nick. He comes to life under a full moon on December 5th and kills all the children.
So he's a werewolf.
And not exactly.
Okay.
He's what he is.
That is fair.
Yes.
And finally, the last movie that I have that it is a Christmas movie. It has a Christmas theme, but it's not really a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
But I'm still including it, is Batman Returns.
Okay.
I think you're probably third of the 80s and 90s Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Batman and Robin is probably your least favorite because of Uma Thurman.
Yeah, probably.
But Batman Returns, of course, has Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, which makes it in third place for you.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito is the Penguin. Christopher Walken in there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Gotham City. But, it all takes place during Christmas time, and it's not as good as the original Batman, 89, which I think is one of the best Batmans in there. And, of course, the full soundtrack from Prince and Jack Nicholson as Joker. Yes. There's so many great things that go about it. But, just seeing the way that Batman deals with new villains and stuff while still having that Tim Burton feel. But we've really talked a lot about Tim Burton and Christmas movies.
We have.
During all this. I wasn't really expecting that. And I didn't realize it till just now.
Exactly.
But, it's Christmas adjacent since it takes place during that time, but I still call it a Christmas movie.
I get you. Up next, I have Ginger Dead Man.
Let me crack open a cold one for this one.
It is terrible. I will preface this by saying that. It is terrible, but it's just hilarious. I mean, it's about a gingerbread man that comes to life and kills people. What more can you want in life?
Well, there's one thing that elevates it above the rest.
There is.
Who plays the voice of Ginger Dead Man? Gary Busey!
Exactly. I mean, that just makes the golden right there. Up next, I have Christmas Evil. So kind of similar to some of my previous horrors. It's about somebody who goes nuts and starts killing people.
There seems to be a theme
There is a theme. And then, kind of finally, I have It Almost Wasn't Christmas. So this is another TV movie from the 80s. It's about a girl who she lives with her mom in Chicago, but her dad lives in LA, and she wants to make her way out to dad, see her dad, and an elf, a Santa Claus, and an ex-con help her make her way out to LA.
Why does that almost sound like My Girl 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of similarities.
It's not great, but I just remember seeing it all the time when I was little, and it just puts me in the Christmas spirit. The only other thing I put down was in it's TV, so I wasn't sure if we were going to include it, but like Rudolph, Frosty, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you see, it's like, by your logic, those are Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Because you included Smoky Mountain Christmas and Very Brady Christmas.
But the thing is, they're also like a half hour long, so it's like, are they a TV program or are they a movie?
That's why I didn't include any TV movies.
Yeah, yep, so, and of course, Charlie Brown Christmas as well.
Yes, and if we do TV episodes and stuff, those will be included again.
Well, we already did.
Did we?
Or no, we did Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we did Thanksgiving.
Sorry,
we haven't
yes,
done Christmas
we have Christmas
yet.
still. We have
This
Christmas
is the first Christmas episode, Len.
That's right.
Yeah,
My mind's all over the place.
Well, you did just get home from your ventures. So.
I did. That is our Christmas movies.
Do you have any favorite Christmas movies that we left off? Mm-hmm. Is it all the Hallmark Channel movies? Is there any Christmas horror movies that we've missed out on?
And why do you love Smoky Mountain Christmas?
Yeah, what is it specifically about Smoky Mountain Christmas? Is it Lee Majors?
Is it Dolly Parton?
Is it the fact that Fonz is a director? Let us know down below. And speaking of getting messed up, there's a lot of messed up stuff that has happened in the past week when it's come to wrestling. Most specifically, this past weekend.
Yes.
So, do we go with the should have seen it coming from a mile away story, or the story of hypocrisy?
I mean, both could be interchangeable. But no, let's start with the AEW related one first.
I don't see how that's really hypocrisy, but
yeah, I guess.
Oh, you're trying. The thing that pretty much got us into wrestling together,
yes,
is officially canceled. It was a weekly show on YouTube called Being the Elite. Now, what was Being the Elite?
So, as you said, it was a weekly YouTube episode, or TV, not TV, but YouTube series. Thank you. I'm looking for the right word here. Ran by the Young Bucks initially. It was videos about them and their travel, a lot of times with Kenny Omega as well. At the time, they were in New Japan, so it was a lot of traveling around there, and Ring of Honor as well.
And Bullet Club.
Yep, a lot about that. Then kind of as they started getting closer to creating AEW and all that, then it started incorporating some other people as well. So the stories kind of changed over time. But it was great initially. I mean, we loved the Young Bucks. We loved Kenny Omega. We loved seeing their ventures. They were hilarious. We loved seeing the Bullet Club. And then a lot of people got involved that we just didn't care about anymore, and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega basically weren't in it at all anymore.
Well, you're skipping over a lot as well.
Okay.
Because I feel like during the pandemic, they really hit a new stride that was going on, because they started incorporating the Dark Order.
Yeah,
and seeing how Brody Lee was able to break out and become pretty much the star of Being the Elite.
Yes.
And I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing.
Well, that's true. That is true.
But I feel like it was after they left Daly's place, and the pandemic restrictions were gone, everything turned to crap.
Yeah.
They started focusing on people who weren't even signed to AEW, that had no affiliation with the Young Bucks whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they basically just started doing stuff because the Young Bucks didn't want to film anymore.
Yeah.
And you could really, really get the impression they didn't want Being the Elite to continue on.
Yeah, I think the more the Young Bucks got away from it, and the more Brandon Cutler kind of took on the role of being the man in charge of it, kind of went downhill.
Yeah, and of course, the Young Bucks are going to be off for several weeks off of AEW programming for reasons we won't get into, because that'll be spoilers. But it's officially been said that Being the Elite is not done. It's not on hiatus. It's officially over.
Yes.
And I dare say a year or two too late.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I wish they would have ended on a high note.
Me too.
But definitely going out on a high note, huh? Well, like I was talking about earlier in the show, I have been working on my top 100 albums of 2023. Of course, I already had everything written out. I did all the recording and everything. And my hours got completely messed up. And last night, I woke up at 11 p.m.
Yes.
I went to bed around 11 a.m. and I woke up around 11 p.m. And all of a sudden, I get a message from you.
Yes.
And it just made me drop my jaw at the hypocrisy of everything that was going on. But Mr. Cult of Personality himself,
Yes.
CM Punk
Punk.
is back in WWE.
He is.
And as Triple H said on social media, hell has frozen over.
Yeah.
So do you know any more about this?
Yeah, so, I mean, we obviously didn't watch Survivor Series.
Well, you weren't home.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have watched it anyway.
And I was sleeping,
Yeah,
so.
regardless, we wouldn't have watched it. Apparently, he came out at the very tail end, walked out, and that's it. And that was the end of the show.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wasn't like he talked or anything like that. It's just that he came out at the very tail end. Yeah, I mean... To your point earlier, I mean, this is something that he said he would never do. There's so many things he said against his company and how he would never return and stuff like that. But money talks. Money talks.
And speaking of that, I did make this. I'm not going to say what it is.
Oh, I saw what you posted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. But basically, he made a tweet about WWE's deal about Saudi Arabia a few years ago. And now that's going to be coming back to haunt him.
Oh,
as well.
Yes, it is.
A huge part of his hypocrisy about going back to this. I feel like it's a money ploy because I think he's running out of money.
That makes sense.
I also get the sneakiest of suspicions that he's going to be the one to defeat Roman Reigns.
Maybe.
After being undefeated for years upon years, ever since we stopped watching WWE, he's been champion.
Yeah.
And no one has beaten him, including the Golden Boy himself, Cody Rhodes. I think they might have had Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns at some point. But now, CM Punk, I really feel like is going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, see, I don't think they would have had Cody beat. Like, I feel like Cody thinks he is way bigger than WWE sees him.
He had to finish the story, Len. He had to finish the story.
Sure he did.
So, what's your thoughts about CM Punk going back?
I mean, he's a hypocrite. Like, unfortunately, I think he's kind of a terrible person for a lot of the stuff that he did at AEW. And I think it's just another gross thing that WWE is doing by having him on the roster again.
And it's not even just AEW. He did a lot of gross stuff in WWE.
Yeah.
To his former best friend, Colt Cabana. Just a lot of he stands for a lot of things that I stand for.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I am against him on, I'm heavily against him on.
Yeah.
And the scariest part about all that, the way that he is he's straight edge.
Yeah.
Which means he's of clear mind doing all this. He's not influenced by drugs or alcohol, which you could blame that on. You could get sober and pretend to be a better person. No. This is him sober, and he's this much of a terrible person.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess in a way, like, WWE is terrible too for a lot of things they do, so they've kind of found each other, you know?
They deserve each other. And funny enough, Rampage and Collision were also on Saturday, going up against Survivor Series, so I'm sure those ratings will be abysmal.
I'm sure.
Of course, didn't watch any of that. You were gone. I was sleeping, so I have no updates on that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it for TV, movies, all that stuff, really.
We didn't really take in any new content this week, but hopefully next week we'll have some more.
Yeah.
All right, so up next in gaming, we don't really have any new games that we've been playing or anything. We've kind of been staying the course with the games we've been playing, but we did take a look at Black Friday deals over the weekend, well, Friday before I left, and last week as well. Didn't really see anything that great, unfortunately.
No, like, everything that I thought was going to be on sale technically was.
Yeah.
But abysmal Black Friday deals.
Yeah.
Like, Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yes.
If you know anything about Ubisoft games, usually what happens is they get released at full price, and then they do, like, the Deluxe, Ultimate, all those kinds of different packagings as well. And then, like, a month later, it goes on sale for about half price.
Yes.
This year, Assassin's Creed Mirage was $10 off.
Yeah, that is not the sale we were looking for.
No, I wanted the half price Assassin's Creed,
exactly.
not $10 off. I can wait. It's a short game.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait on that.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe they'll have different sales for Cyber Monday even, or Christmas time, but Black Friday deals were not what we were hoping for with the gaming stuff.
And a lot of the gaming stuff has just been making me upset lately.
Yeah.
So much so that, we did a lot of budgeting over the past week.
We did.
And I decided that for the gaming subscription stuff, we're going back to basics. For the PlayStation stuff, I went down to PS Plus Essential, which is just the base level stuff. You get the 3 free games every month, and you get connected online, and then you also get like PlayStation deals every once in a while.
Yeah.
Main reason for this is is we saved $80 a year by going down.
Exactly.
Because it is now $160 for PlayStation Plus Premium.
Yes, which is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous. That's the price of basically almost 3 games. 3 brand new games, which in a way could be looked at as a good thing, but it was $120 before, so they jacked up the price $40.
That's way too much.
It is. So, $10 a month or whatever we got it for. I think it was $60 that we paid, $60 or $80, one of the two.
Yeah.
It actually just transferred over today.
Okay.
So, yeah, much better than. So, yeah, we're saving $80 a year by doing that, and potentially even more if it skyrockets up again next year.
Exactly.
Because it's not even been a year since they decided to up the price, so that's pretty messed up.
Yes.
And the one that kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because you took advantage of it for a little bit, but we decided to knock things down on the Xbox side to Game Pass Console.
Yes.
Which is basically everything that you get for Xbox Game Pass, but just on the console of Xbox. So you don't get to play it on PC, you can't stream it on your phone, you don't get EA Plus.
Yeah.
But I don't take advantage of a lot of that stuff. And you did for a little bit, but then you kind of stopped.
Yeah, well, I played when, what was it?
Power Wash
Simulator. When that came out, I played it on my phone a lot. And I've tried a few other games on there, but it's just not very easy to play on the phone. So maybe at some point if I get a different handheld system, but as of now, I'm just not using it at all. So, and I play the Switch more than anything anyways, so.
I'm still always going to try to talk you into getting one of the other PC handhelds.
Yeah.
Are they expensive? Yes.
Yes.
But can you play everything on them? Yes.
That's true. That's true.
So
that's true.
That's something to think about at some point. And
at some point.
Maybe at some point when they become reasonable.
Yes.
But that's pretty much all I got. I've just been playing Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. I've been playing the mini games a lot to really get the most out of it. I believe our deal is either done December 6th or December 16th for Xbox. So I still have EA Pass Plus. I forgot what it's called, but I still want to try out the remake of Dead Space before we lose everything.
Yeah,
because that looks like a really fun horror game, and I remember playing the original. I want to see how it's been updated.
Definitely.
But other than that, that's the only one that was a part of all of that. So why not save that $80 and then save whatever it would have been from going down from Ultimate to console and just go from there.
Yeah. And on my end, Too Hot to Handle and Love is Blind were wrapped up a few weeks back, but still been playing Love Island. Nothing too exciting happening there. And then I've also started playing some Stories and Choices, Romance Club, and Taboo, which if you're not familiar with, there's kind of choose your own adventure storytelling stuff.
Well, I remember Taboo being a board game, so this must be something different.
This is a different one, yeah. Yeah, this is different.
Oh, all these ways to find the man that you really want in animated form.
All right, and our final section will be check the music. First up, we noticed that Glen over at ProgPower posted his top 50 of the year, so we were thinking about going through that and kind of giving some reactions.
Yeah, like we mentioned in the beginning of the show, we did just top 40 last week, so we're going the more ProgPower way with Glen Hellstrom's ProgPower top 50 albums of 2023.
Yeah.
We did actually look at this one ahead of time,
briefly,
before you left, and we had our thoughts, and we're probably gonna have some more of those thoughts.
I'm sure.
As well. Either recapping it just for ourselves or maybe some new thoughts that has happened over the weekend. Yeah.
Of course, last week I didn't know hardly any of the songs.
Or bands.
Or bands, sorry. This week I know a few more, but there are definitely some that I just still don't know.
Yeah. Starting off at number 50 is Nebulae Comes Sweet with De Luminaire. Dark orchestral post-metal, as he describes it.
I am not familiar with them.
I am not either. Number 49, Sanguine Galicius with Maladaptive Daydreaming. Symphonic death metal that I've never heard of.
I have not heard them either, but it could be something I enjoy.
Yeah, and he also mentions how they kind of have a Vulture Industries and Unexpect kind of vibe, so it's kind of got that avant-garde kind of feeling behind it, which I am not against. 48, All for Metal with their self-titled album.
I am not familiar with them either.
Yeah, I can't really say that I'm familiar with them as well, but it looks like it's cheesy heavy metal, so, if that's for you, if it's not for you, however that goes. Number 47, Hypnos with Shoal.
Another one I am not familiar with.
I've heard the name for quite a long time. It's very much on the ambient black metal kind of thing. Hasn't ever really been my bag, mainly
Yeah.
because of production values and stuff, but
Yeah.
maybe they did something different on this one. I might give it a shot. I'm more open-minded than you are when it comes to stuff like
That
this,
is
so
true. That is true.
we'll see what happens. 46, Sacred Outcry with Towers of Gold.
I have heard the name, I believe, but I don't know of this album.
He describes it as power metal, but there's
Yeah.
so many subsections of power metal, it's kind of
That
hard to
is
say
true.
what it is. Number 45, Niavlascaris with Exul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with them. I have liked some of the stuff they've done in the past. I didn't really listen to this one, but
I listened to it once because
Yeah.
I felt like I was obligated to.
Mhm.
I have fallen off the Niavlascaris bandwagon for reasons, so I never really gave this album a chance.
yeah,
But I have my reasons.
yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. 44. I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just gonna say HMLTD with The Worm.
Yeah.
Bowie on Acid does not sound like my kind of bag.
Mine either.
43, Crookashawn with The Living and the Dead. Some very good Irish folk metal that I'm surprised you aren't more familiar with.
Yeah, I am not familiar with them.
Yeah, I think you would really like them. 42, Redshift with Laws of Entropy. Yeah, 90s style prog metal is a great way to be able to describe them. I haven't listened to them in quite a bit of time, and I kind of just got reminded that they exist, so I might give that more of a chance.
And I do not know them again. I'm not on a good strike so far.
It's kind of got like a 90s Fates Warning kind of feel.
Okay.
So you might enjoy them.
Maybe.
You might. 41, Omnirod with the Amnal Rise. Not familiar whatsoever.
I feel like I've heard the band name before, but I am not familiar with them.
Yeah, again, I did a top 100 of 2023, which
Yes.
again comes out tomorrow if you're checking this out on Sunday. And I cut the list down from over 200, and I still feel like an utter failure for not checking out enough music, apparently, because a lot of people are covering stuff that I just never even heard of, let alone know they exist. Number 40, Blind Man's Daughter with Kahel. Melodic progressive power metal. I'm not familiar with them.
I am not either.
Oh, wow, we're doing a fantastic
We are
job
just
here.
doing wonderful.
Nuclear Power Trio with Wet Ass Plutonium. Instrumental progressive metal. I know at least two of the members of the bands. One's dressed up as Donald Trump, one's dressed up as Kim Jong-un, and one's dressed up as Putin.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they dress up as like the evil leaders of the world and do instrumental metal.
Okay. I'm not really an instrumental person for the most part, but I'm sure that's hilarious.
Well, I mean, with a name like Wet Ass Plutonium, knowing that what that's making
That is
fun of,
true.
I mean,
That
it's
is true.
all done tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
38, a band I almost made my top 100.
Yeah.
And I do love the album. It is Elaine with We Shall Remain. One of the few symphonic metal bands that still sounds like a symphonic metal band.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It didn't make my list, I will say that right now, but I remember enjoying it though.
Yeah, they got moments that sound like Nightwish and Epica. They have one song in particular that sounds like Dimmu Borgir with all clean vocals.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff, and I hope nothing but the best for them because they do fantastic stuff.
Yes.
37. I'm honestly surprised this would make a ProgPower list. Blutas Nord with Disharmonia, Nahab, the sequel album to the first Disharmonia album that came out last year. Your favorite genre, ambient avant-garde black metal.
Yes. I do know of them. I know you played them for me. I don't necessarily remember liking them though.
Well, they have a lot of different sides to them. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're straight up black metal. Sometimes they do goth rock.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do some of the weirdest black metal you can imagine.
Yeah.
And this is the latter.
Yeah.
On this particular album. 36, Aviations with Luminari, a band that I don't really know.
I don't either.
Sorry, that's all I got. 35, Trevor Rabin with Rio. Another one I am not familiar. If I knew what band he was in, I'd probably know.
Yeah.
Considering he's on Inside Out, I feel like I should know, but I got nothing else to add.
Yeah.
34, Frozen Crown with Call of the North.
Sorry. I do enjoy Frozen Crown. I didn't listen to this one enough this year, so it didn't make my list, but I do.
And wouldn't you know it, they're going to be playing ProgPower next year.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to be a theme later in this list.
Oh.
Yeah, I really enjoy what they do. Great Italian power metal.
Yeah.
Just really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
33, Silent Skies with Dormant. 33? It's at number 33? Inside joke that we'll talk about later.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Tom England and Vikram Shankar doing dark ambient pop.
Yes.
If you think Adele writes sad, dark pop, you haven't heard Silent Skies.
Yes, we'll hold your beer.
Your thoughts?
So, yeah. I love Tom England, and I love most things that Vikram is a part of. I don't know. Like, I feel like in the right mood, I could enjoy it a lot more, but it's very much mood music for me, so it did not make a list. I'm sorry.
I never know what that means with her. It's mood music. I mean, she has ways of describing things like we've talked about in the last couple shows. Not your cup of tea. Like, why would you even go for that kind of tea to begin with instead of just saying you don't like it? Instead of saying it's not my cup of tea. It's a whole thing. I gotta get out of this.
Okay, Howard.
I will say I enjoy the album, and you might hear me
Yes.
talk about it later.
I'm sure we will.
In this year. It didn't make your list! Come on!
Oh, and I'll be hearing that again.
Yes, you will. 32, Mondo Drag with Through the Hourglass. Another band I'm just simply not familiar with, but considering he
neither.
talks about it with Pink Floyd moments, not really my bag.
Nope.
31, Temic with Terror Management Theory. This is a new supergroup featuring past and present members of Haken, Devin Townsend, Neil Morse Band, and more. This is a debut album, and it's some damn fine progressive metal in 2023. I know you haven't heard it.
No, I have not.
You might like it, you might not, but I think it's catchy enough that you might enjoy it.
Maybe.
30, Mind Overclock with A Blessing in Disguise. Instrumental psychedelic rock. Not my cup of tea.
Mine either.
Really, anything that's psychedelic is not my thing.
Me either.
Even though you used to be a deadhead at one point in time. But that's a subject for a different time. 29, Blackbriar with A Dark Euphony. Now, before either of us say how we feel about this album, the way Glen describes it is, miss the early Within Temptation sound from Mother Earth, ? What is your thoughts on this?
I mean, I love the early Within Temptation sound from Mother Earth, but this is not that at all. Like, I feel like Blackbriar is a band that is completely in their own category. Yes, they're symphonic. Yes, it's female vocalists, blah, blah, blah. Like, loop them in with, like, everybody else. But, like, they're so different. They're, like, ethereal, fairy tale music. And
Grimm's fairy tale.
Yes.
Not Disney.
Dark, like, fairy tale. And, like, I don't see the comparison at all.
Yeah, like, if I was to try to describe them, and I do describe them, later on, you'll hear and stuff about that later in the year, potentially this week or next week, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I find them to have elements of symphonic, gothic, and alternative metal rolled into one. And funny enough, I did a little read-up that the two key members of the band met at a Hailstorm show and decided to create the band.
That's funny.
So I don't know if you like them less because of that, but that is how they started.
But no, I if you've listened to any of our previous shows, I've talked about them on multiple shows. I love Blackbriar, and they have made my list, but I won't say where.
It's number one.
I guess you'll have to wait and see.
It's number one. If it's not, I would be completely and utterly shocked, especially like with what you just said, how much you've talked about them.
We'll see.
But you know, I've been wrong before.
See what happens.
Last year when we went over stuff off mic because you weren't doing the show then, I was surprised about your number one because I didn't expect that to be number one. I expected a different album to be number one, so this could be the same thing.
I do shock you pretty much every year with my top.
You do. Number 11? Sorry. Coming in at number 28 is Love Bites with Judgment Day. Another band playing ProgPower next year.
Huh, what a quinky dink.
Have you listened to Love Bites?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Love Bites. I didn't listen much to this album though, so I can't speak to this album really, but they're good.
I basically just know them in name only because I've heard them in the past and completely forgot what they sound like.
I understand.
27, Lalu, with your favorite prog album of the year, The Fish Who Wanted to Be King. Ring, ring, call me from the phone book.
Yes. Yeah, it is not my bag, baby. But I remember you doing the interview and he seemed like a lovely human being. So if it's your thing, good on you.
Seriously, check out my interview with Vivian Lalu if you haven't already.
Yeah.
He is like the French version of me. Like, we connect on so many different levels when
Yeah.
it comes to gaming and music and
Yeah.
Ziltoid
Yeah,
and
he was so
many
nice.
things.
So nice.
He goes more into the progressive rock realm of like Yes and Genesis
Yeah.
and Gentle Giant more than I do, but we connect on a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
I do enjoy this album. It did not make it into the top 100. There's a lot of albums that I'm very sad did not make top 100, and as I'm not doing any honorable mentions this year, this would have made it into the honorable mentions, but that's the breaks, little man. Break it down. Number 26, Sermon with Of Golden Voice. This is the sophomore album from this UK band, and this is one that grabbed me by the heartstrings and did not let go. It is very dark progressive metal. Like, there's elements of like the progressive metal side of Catatonia throughout this entire thing.
Yeah.
There's moments of absolute sheer brutal death metal without the death metal vocals. It's all clean throughout the entire album. Thematically, it deals with everything from war to the state of the world to suicide and so much more. So it really, really hit me hard. And I think it found a pretty good spot to my top 100 of the year, but I won't go into where.
Yeah.
I know you don't remember this one.
I don't. I remember hearing the name. I remember you playing them, but like, I can't remember what they sound like.
Fair enough. 25, Theocracy with Mosaic. I got the promo for this and I totally forgot to listen to it.
Yeah, I like Theocracy and I completely forgot about this album this year, so.
Nothing beats their Christmas music though.
Well, there you go.
All I want for Christmas is my old job back. Number 24, Mercenary with Soundtrack for the End of Times. It's Soundtrack for the End Times, but you know what? I'm gonna let Glen slide on this one. Again, he does what both of us hate so much.
Yeah.
It's not the old Mercenary, but it's still good. Glen.
I think it's amazing. Has it knocked into my Fopper Mercenary? No, not quite, but it absolutely has that mercenary sound. It is an amazing album.
Tune in next week for my thoughts on the Mercenary album.
Oh.
23, Delane with Dark Waters.
Lane has been a band that I've never gotten too into. I mean, they've been fine. What we listened to from this one just didn't win me over. I feel like, I don't know. It kind of the way with a lot of the female-fronted symphonic bands, shall we say. Like, they've been going the Amaranth route a little bit, and it's just not my favorite.
Yes, that is one of my biggest gripes in metal.
Yeah.
Is symphonic bands afraid of being symphonic anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they all have to go the modern metal route. They always have to look as sexy as possible. They have to just put on a visual rather than an audible show.
Yeah.
And I miss the symphonics in symphonic metal. It shouldn't just be holding down a couple notes on the keyboard to create a symphonic sound when you focus on more industrial and modern metal stuff. I miss symphonic.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's some bands that do that, and there will be plenty of those in my top 100 to show you the genre is not dead.
Exactly.
It just smells funny. 22, Riverside with ID Entity. Kind of a counterpart to the new Lunatic Soul album with how they both talk about AI. Of course, Mazarius talks about AI in both albums. They both fit together. This one is more really harkening back to the progressive rock sound. It's not really hitting the progressive metal side that I really like from the band. Yeah, it's really got more of like an 80s synth sound, which it is on my list, but not as high as other Riverside albums have been in the past.
Yeah.
And I will always remember you saying you enjoyed watching them at ProgPower, but ever since you listened to them since, they have not been your thing, which I don't understand.
I don't even remember liking them at ProgPower.
Maybe you were just delirious. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, they're just not my thing.
21, Vandenberg with the self-titled album.
Yeah, I absolutely love Adrian Vandenberg. I like Vandenberg. This album was good on it, but it didn't meet my top 30. I'm doing my top 30 of the year if you didn't know this already.
Well, we've talked about it on the show, but it's good to remind people.
Yeah. But I love Vandenberg, but this album just didn't quite make it.
I haven't heard it, so I can't go one way or the other. either.
Yeah.
I've heard a song, and I know you've had me play one of the new singles when it came out, but that was it.
Yeah.
20, Tesseract, War of Being. I can guarantee you any of the profits or proceeds from this album will not be going to their merchandising people. Oh boy, what a debacle all that was.
Right?
I haven't liked Tesseract since their second album, so that's about all I got.
Yeah, they've never been my bag, so.
19, The Raven Age with Blood Omen. One of the guys from Iron Maiden, his son is in this band, and that's about all I know.
Yeah, I am not familiar with them.
I know they've opened up for Maiden on a few tours because of
course.
but other than that, I really don't know. 18, Crowned Lands with Fearless. I haven't heard of this, but he describes it as straight up Rush worship. So maybe there's something to enjoy there, but I think there's only one Rush, so.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
17, DGM with Life. I completely forgot about this album. They are a magnificent band, and I should go check them out. And, when I do the refresh of my top albums of 2023 sometime next year, maybe it'll be on there, because they've always put out solid albums.
Yeah, I remember liking some of their stuff in the past, but I did not listen to this one at all.
16, Camelot with The Awakening.
Yes, I mean, I love Camelot. I will always love the Roy Camelot more. But I didn't get into this album. I just couldn't get into it. It just didn't sound like Camelot anymore.
I feel really bad about this because Alex from Camelot, I consider to be a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And if everything goes right, we're going to be doing an interview very soon about a new endeavor that he's got going on. Outside of him playing drums, it's a new endeavor. This is probably my least favorite Camelot album.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying that because the music is competent.
Yeah.
But again, like we've talked about the symphonic bands, they're afraid of being a symphonic band anymore. This is like a modern metal album instead of a symphonic metal album.
Yeah, it definitely went a different road, and even though like I said, I love Roy with Camelot, because I felt like his voice just added kind of a darkness to Camelot that I enjoyed.
But you don't like Conception.
I know. Isn't that weird? But I love the current lineup as well. It's just this album just didn't grab me.
Number 15, a band I completely crapped the bed on this year because I've interviewed them in the past. They've been in my top 100 before, back when they were just called Cryptex, but the Cryptex with Nimbus. And I need to go back and check this out because they are an incredible ProgPower band.
I am not familiar.
Oh, you've heard them before. I think they even made your list one year.
I don't think so.
I feel like they were close to it. We talked about them a lot.
Well,
I think you just forgot about them.
I don't think they made my list though.
All right, well, regardless.
Yeah.
Number 14, Jason Bieler and the Baron von Blisky Orchestra with Postcards from the Asylum. I don't know what this is.
No.
Weirdo Prague, as it's described. All right. 13, funny placement that I'll talk about later. Redemption with I Am the Storm. This, of course, is the second album with the revitalized lineup featuring Tom England and Vikram Shankar.
Yes.
Very dark progressive metal, but the way I describe it ever since Tom and especially Vikram joining the band, instead of just being completely dark, there's elements of color and, dare I say, positivity that's going in within the band now. Yeah, like Tom isn't just singing from the depths of darkness on this album, which is very, very strange to me that he's showing some positivity in any way, shape, or form. But I thoroughly enjoyed this album. When I was doing my backwards marathon on Redemption, I gave this an S ranking, and I still hold true to that. I think it's one of the best albums that they've made.
It's a band that I've never really dug into too much myself. I know you played it for me many a time, but I've never really sat down with them. I can't speak to it too well.
Of course. Number 12, Catatonia with Sky Void of Stars.
For me, this is a band that you have been trying to get me into for many a year, and it's a band on my list of bands I need to listen to, but I have not done so yet.
You like my twin so much.
I do. But I always go into the Andy and Ollie route. Twinner!
Yes. Completely missing the point of what the song is about.
Oh, I know what it's about.
For me, Sky Void of Stars is kind of harkens back to my favorite Catatonia album, which is Last Fair Deal Gone Down. I don't know if that's considered a favorite by many people, but it's a favorite of mine because they go all over the map on that album. They go alternative rock, they go gothic rock, they go progressive metal, they go so many different directions on that album. Where in 2023, they kind of do the same thing, but it's through everything that they've done since that album album, and especially with how polarizing the previous album, City Burials, was, with it being a lot more electronic, I feel like this is the album that should have came out instead of City Burials, but had that previous album never came out, we might not have gotten Sky Void of Stars, but basically, it's like a 2023 version of like their best material outside of their Death Doom era, but with all brand new material. It's fantastic stuff, and that's all I'm gonna say for now.
Yeah.
Number 11, another one of your favorite prog bands, Haken with Fauna.
Yeah, not my cup of tea.
Again, going back onto that. What is, like, there's so many different kinds of tea out there.
There are.
How do you differentiate the kind of tea?
I mean, they all have different tastes, and, you know, some of them I like the taste, some of them I do not.
I will say this particular Haken album kind of strays from the path over the last couple albums where they were focusing much more on the heavy progressive metal side. This album is a lot more of like throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And they go into more electronica, they go into trip hop, they go into jazz, and of course the prog rock quirky stuff. And, you know, I know how much you love the quirky stuff when it comes to music.
Oh, yes.
I do thoroughly enjoy it, so I'm not sure where I'd put it in their discography, but I do enjoy the album. Number 10, Soen with Memorial. Yeah, this is the most mainstream album the band has done to date. I've always considered them to be a combination of Opeth meets Tool.
Okay.
This time around, they really done away with the Tool elements, and they became a little more mainstream, so a lot of their riffs are much more catchier, there's a lot more hooks on it. I think people outside of prog, this would be the album to get into it.
Yeah.
And you might be able to appreciate stuff that they've done before. I know a lot of prog fans hate this album because it is so less prog, but that might be the reason why you might enjoy it, is
Yeah.
because it's less proggy.
Yeah. I mean, I know of the band. I know you've played them before. Never gotten into them before, but maybe this could be it.
Maybe. Number 9, Winger with 7. The 7th album from the band
Ooh,
Winger.
Is that it? No, I absolutely love Winger. I love Hip Winger. I won't say if this album made my list or not, but it was a good one. It was a good one.
Well, looking at the video thumbnail that he has, I really want that microphone.
It is cool.
If there's a way to like hook that up to the computer, I want that.
That is
That'd be
pretty
so cool.
And I want the guy standing there singing.
I thought you liked the other one more.
Ooh.
I forgot his name, the other guitarist of Winger.
Oh, I forgot his
See
name.
how off the cuff this is?
Yes. Oh goodness.
Oh well. That went over like a wet fart. But my opinion on this album, I do appreciate that it's on the heavier side, it's on the proggier side. There's a lot of cheesy moments on this album though, like too cheesy for my taste, and I love cheese.
Not as much as previous albums though.
But it's still there.
I mean,
It's still there.
and you're thinking of Reb.
Yes.
I mean, Reb is cool too. But Kip is tops.
Fair enough. Number 8, Angra with Cycles of Pain.
I love Angra. This album just, I don't know, like the songs that we listened to, we didn't, or I didn't listen to the entire thing, but the songs I did listen to, like, they were fine. They were fine. Like, some of them were definitely harder. Some of them were completely just like different than anything I've heard from Angra before. But overall, it just didn't grab me.
This album is the darkest Angra album potentially ever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of threw both of us off.
Probably.
It covers some really heavy subject matter, and
Yeah.
when you watch the videos, they even like harken back to like Andre Montos, which
Yes.
is really heartbreaking to think about.
It is.
It didn't catch my attention this time, sadly.
Yeah.
And maybe if I gave it more of a chance, it could, but it just didn't do that much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a feeling that Kiko's going to be rejoining Angra.
Maybe.
Because A, they don't tour nearly as much as Megadeth does,
that
so
is
he's going to
true.
be able to be at home more.
That is true.
And I also feel like if that does happen,
Mhm.
they might put out their best work since Andre Montos was in the band.
Maybe.
If Kiko
Maybe.
rejoins. But, you know, that could just be a pipe dream.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue to try to live that pipe dream. Number 7, Karnataka with
Karmataka.
Karmataka. That could be it as well. However you want to pronounce it. Requiem for a Dream. One of your favorite movies of all time has become potentially a reference for a prog rock album.
Yeah, I have not heard of them.
I haven't either. I only heard of them from this list. Number 6, Voyager, Fearless in Love.
I know we saw them at ProgPower
Twice.
Yeah, twice. They put on a good show, but their music has never been completely my thing. I mean, it's fine, but it's not something I'd go back to really too much though.
Well, the earlier albums were much more on the progressive side. This one is like almost pure pop.
Okay.
It's like a synth pop album.
Okay.
The reason for that is they were part of the big European music competition Eurovision last year.
Okay.
And they had a song that was on there, and they made it into either the top 10 or the top 20. They made it into the finals of Eurovision, which you would never expect from a band like Voyager.
No.
And also, sadly, the singer of the band is struggling with cancer right now as well.
Okay.
So they had to like cancel all their plans while he's going through everything. Don't
terrible.
know what stage he's in, but obviously hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Number 5, No Spun with Opus. And considering what this is like, I am kind of surprised I haven't checked them out before. Although the way Glen describes it is like classic prog metal have been drawn to it like hillbillies to Mountain Dew. Makes me not want to check it out. But considering it has a lot of Dream Theater moments in there, I might need to check this one out. I don't know what it is. I know they're playing ProgPower next year, but I'll give them a shot.
Yeah, I've only heard of them from the ProgPower lineup, though.
Number 4, Arcvis with Approbation. Another band I'm not familiar with, although I see there's similarities to Porcupine Tree, and as you broke my heart a couple weeks ago, when it comes into that, I don't think it would be necessarily your bag,
Probably
but
not.
I might give it a shot.
Yeah.
Number 3, Jalusic, otherwise known Dino Jalusic, keyboardist and backup singer for Whitesnake, singer for Michael Romeo on his album last year, with Follow the Blind Man. And I believe this is his, I think it's his first solo album, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
But I love his voice.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard the album.
Yeah, I haven't listened to this, but it sounds like something I could really get into.
Yeah, very much so. Number 2, The Anchorette with It All Began With Loneliness. I love this album. The way that I've described it, and you'll be seeing it at some point in the top 100, is like King Crimson, Opeth, and Pain of Salvation combined.
Okay.
Like, it goes into near progressive death metal.
Yeah.
It goes into more melodic prog rock and everything in between.
Yeah.
This, I'm flabbergasted that this is a debut album because it feels like this is a band that's been around for decades.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoy this, and I wish more prog bands would do something like this. And I know you haven't heard it, so.
No, I haven't.
And number 1, such a shock to me, but also not a shock at the same time.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I kind of feel like he put this at number 1 to get people to talk and be just get the ratio up on it. Is Sleep Token with Take Me Back to Eden. Now, you heard the Sleep Token album.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It's not for me. It's not for me.
Why?
I found nothing enjoyable about it.
Can you describe any of it, or are you just going like that?
I mean, I don't honestly, like, I don't even remember it at this point. I knew I didn't like it, so it's out of my mind at this point.
Fair enough. Well, anyways, people have called them Imagine Dragons metal.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the best way to kind of describe it. It's very ambient, atmospheric, pop, dark metal with a very heavy emphasis on the synth pop that Imagine Dragons has done. Yeah, the Imagine Dragon is strong in this band, but they try to do the ghost thing where they have like their own kind of cult thing going on. They got their own folklore, kind of like what Ghost does, but just not done the way that Ghost does.
Yeah.
And by that I mean fun.
Yeah.
This is not a fun band.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the previous album, but this album went into a direction that was just, I checked it out a couple times, and there was a couple songs I enjoyed, but not enough for me to ever go back to it. And I know they're all over because of TikTok, and, they sold out their US tour in like 15 minutes or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
They're gigantic on TikTok and social media, and, good on them. Any band making money in 2023, it's hard to knock, but
That's true.
just not my kind of band.
Yeah.
So that's Glen Hellstron's top 50 albums of 2023.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts overall?
I mean, I have a few thoughts. I mean, at the end of the day, we each have our own opinions and tastes and stuff like that, and that it is what it is, and that's fine. But part of the list, it's hard not to think he put on the list because they're playing his show or have in the past, or he wants them to in the future. Patience. While I am not the most worldly person with music, you are. You hear a lot of music.
I do.
And considering at least half of the list you didn't even know, it's hard for me to not feel like he he purposely tries to put bands on that nobody's heard of to kind of seem like he's a step above us all.
But I also feel like he gets sent a ton of music because he runs ProgPower.
And that
And
absolutely
that
could
might be
be
why.
but I also feel like he maybe picks them purposely because they aren't heard by other people. And maybe he does that to, promote them more or something, but I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, and we've kind of felt that way about ProgPower over the last several years or so, for reasons that are disclosed and undisclosed, but keep it at that. Yeah, I feel like I haven't done my job between last week and so many albums I haven't heard of, and this week hearing so many albums I hadn't heard of. Maybe that'll happen with my top 100. I'll be having a lot of albums I haven't heard of before, so maybe it's all a rich tapestry.
It could be.
Who knows?
Could be.
But, what did you think of Glen's top 50? Did he put some good albums on there, some bad albums? Did he throw Sleep Token in there just to get a rise out of people? Let us know.
Yes.
But with that said, if you're checking this out today on Sunday, or potentially checking it out on Monday, it is the most glorious 2 weeks of the year.
Yes.
It is Heavy Debriefings' top 100 albums of 2023. For anyone not familiar, if for some reason this is the first show that you're checking out, starting on Monday, November 27th, I'll be doing 10 albums a day to cover my top 100 albums of the year. I'll be doing that Monday through Friday through this week and next week, and taking Saturday and Sunday off just to make sure that people actually get a chance to see these and not skip over them. And I will be having this in the written version, which is the longest version. I have the YouTube version as well with all 10 in one video, and then I'll be having the YouTube shorts and / potentially TikTok videos as well too, where all the reviews are under a minute for all you scattermind, short attention span people. I'm trying to cover all the bases here, and not this coming show, but the show after.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we will be checking out our collective top 30 albums of 2023.
Yes.
Why are we going with a top 30?
Because that's what I did.
Yes. It'd be weird for me to do a top 100 and you just sitting quietly for 70 albums.
Yes.
Unless I want to just go over every album that I have on there and hear a lot of it's not my cup of tea, or I haven't heard it, or I don't remember.
Exactly.
So we're doing it this way, so it'll be up to 60 albums, but I know we probably have some shared albums in there as well.
Probably.
I imagine we're going to be going back and forth like we normally do, so look forward to that in 2 weeks.
Yes.
That's going to be really fun to do. And of course, I think this is a good time to wrap things up. Thank you so very much for tuning in to episode 20. At the time of recording this, I have no idea what we're going to be calling the show.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But along with all of that, thank you again for tuning in. Make sure to follow Heavy Debriefings on all your favorite social media sites: Facebook, Instagram, Reds, Blue Sky, YouTube, and of course check out heavydebriefings.weebly.com for everything Heavy Debriefings. And also just seeing how many people that are leaving the former platform known as Twitter, also known as X, due to all the neo-Nazism that seems to be running abroad thanks to Elon Musk, makes me glimmer in so many happy ways seeing that fall apart. And I hope he'll be dead by the end of the year, because so many sponsors are no longer running ads on there and they no longer are a part of X/Twitter. So forget that I was ever a part of it. I don't go on there anymore.
Yes.
But until next time, for the Metal Faerie, this is Josh Runquist for the Heavy Debriefings podcast saying, see ya.